Hi, my name is Mary Pierce, and I'm here today at Penn's Peak to interview the band, the Yardbirds. The Yardbirds were founded in 1964, and in 2013 are about to celebrate their 50th anniversary. And today I'm here talking to Andy Mitchell, David Smale, and Ben King. Very nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
I'm very glad to be here to talk to you about your contribution to the Yardbirds. What I'd like to do is, there's a lot of information obviously out there about the Yardbirds. They've been around a long time. They've had a lot of innovations in music. They've had a huge impact on modern rock and roll. One probably, you know, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who wouldn't admit that without the Yardbirds, the music we have today that's being listened to would be different, would be very different. So I want to throw something out at you. I personally am a very visual person, and I found something interesting on the internet, and you may have seen it. I will show it to everyone.
We don't like the internet.
Ye old timesheet.
This is a visual timeline of the Yardbirds from when they were founded to now, and the bars represent the different members of the band, the time that they were with the band, and what they did. So, I want to say,
so there's going to be a little tiny dot.
Yeah.
So Andy, well, the green line represents people in history who have done what you do, you know, lead vocals. Let's take a look at it.
Don't let Pink be bass player.
Pink bass players.
The bass player.
It was good.
Let's see, bass is dark blue.
Yes.
There you are, dark blue.
It's because it's a manly instrument.
And we have lead guitar is green. Lead guitar, do they do it separate from vocals? No, there's some lead vocals on blue. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
It's 50 years of music. Great music, innovative music, music that has influenced and formed other music and other musicians that exist today. Okay, I want to throw some other things out there. No pressure. Some things that I found out on the internet about the Yardbirds. One of the most successful, innovative, and influential bands of the history of rock and roll. Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, all of which were in the top 15 Rolling Stone top 100 list for guitar players. Clapton's number 4, Page is number 9, Beck is number 14.
Controversial.
It is.
It is controversial. Pioneers in guitar innovations of the 1960s.
Absolutely.
The most impressive guitar band in rock music.
Arguably so, yeah.
Wow. What does that mean to you guys? A young generation of musicians coming up and performing with a band that I have to ask, did they or did they not shape who you are as individual musicians?
Well, absolutely. I mean, maybe you should ask Ben about the guitar, the whole guitar thing, because he's the axe man who deafens me.
You want to put some real pressure on Ben? Okay.
He's used to it by now.
Let me read something I found on the internet about Ben. The mantle has been passed to a younger generation. They, the Yardbirds, have discovered the extraordinarily talented Ben King. Ben King's mastery of the Fender Telecaster is truly frightening, invoking the distinct possibility that Ben's unbelievable ability will take him to the heights that echo those of this band's illustrious predecessors. That's a quote from USA Today.
Wow,
nice.
That's very cool.
I remember reading that one actually. That was great. That was really, really motivating, and it was a fantastic thing to read. I was quite young at the time. I was 20 when I joined this band. So for me to have joined a band of, you know, so legendary for guitar as this, to go into that age was really kind of a dream come true. And you know, I remember when I first joined the guys, Chris and Jim. You sure you want to do it? You sure you want to do it? You know, and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, because it's a lot of pressure to deal with, of course. But at the same time, it's been fantastic. It really has helped shape who I've become as a musician. Primarily just through having to take music out in its live form. You know, the stage, it really is the truth when it comes to performing, and it's really sort of helped me siphon or sift out a lot of the stuff that maybe would have taken me a lot longer had I not joined this band. So it's really sort of been an accelerated life process over the last 5 years or so, 6 years for me, and it's been fantastic. Absolutely.
I read that your father was a guitar player.
Yeah.
And so you were raised with in a household of music. What has that meant to you personally, and how has it shaped you as a musician? And then to be in the Yardbirds, I realize probably at first it was a lot of pressure and a little bit intimidating. Just from talking to you, it sounds like that's shaken out a little bit. So, you know, the experience of these seasoned professionals, and with the influence of your father being a musician and being in a musical household, how has that come together and affected you, and where you're going with your music?
Well, I was always very, very supported in what I did. I've been playing a long time. I started at 3 or 4 years old. I started playing guitars and listening to a lot of records, and I was sort of weaned on all kinds of music. I had a vinyl player at a very young age, so you know, my dad would give me 5 or 6 records here and there, and I'd jam with him, listen to him playing with other musicians, and just kind of did it my own way. I think he taught me in that kind of very rootsy, traditional, more blues way, where you kind of just use your ears and stuff. I wasn't really reading music. I wasn't really taking a classical approach to it until a little bit later, just because I was hungry to do as much as I could. When you've been playing for so long, you kind of, especially as a kid, you kind of get drawn towards things that, you know, I was drawn to everything really musically, so I wanted to try and just strive to be the best that I could in any given field, and I've ended up sort of as this weird mix mash, whatever you want to call it, trying to create a style that I can call my own, or a sound that I can call my own, and yeah, I think growing up with having the upbringing I had really helped, because I was always supported, so I didn't really. It wasn't that it was an ego. I wouldn't want to say I have a big ego with it, but I had confidence. So I think that's what really helps, because I believe in what I'm playing, you know. And yeah, that kind of comes from having done it for so long, I think.
Well, and confidence is very differentiating from ego.
Yeah.
And do you want to be a rock star?
No, no, I don't.
He's a natural rock star anyway. Look at him.
I want to go back to the country and I don't know.
He wants to grow potatoes,
chop wood or something.
have 20 children.
I love that stuff.
I think, my opinion, I think people who make music at a soul level, the idea of rock star isn't typically a goal to be attained, as much as making the music. Would you say that fits you more than...
I don't know what rock star means.
Because I think you probably are a rock star.
I
think he's right.
I don't know what that means, to be honest. I think it used to mean something very, very different from what it means these days. So.
The rock star died out at the end of the 80s, didn't it? Surely. Yeah. You know, the rock star, the way that people think of what rock star means.
Yeah. Well, a rock star is a style icon. Ben is definitely a style icon.
Even when he's outgrowing potatoes, he looks cool.
What not to do.
What not to wear.
What not to wear.
Yeah.
Don't grow up.
That's an English TV program, yeah.
It's all
Ben's
about self-expression.
Indeed.
The music. Let's pick on David for a little bit. Here's some words I found to describe you. Brilliant new generation bass player. His joining the band bring both power and imagination to an all-important rhythm section.
Agreed.
Who was it that said that? Was it Chris?
I did not do my due diligence and cite who specifically said it.
Sorry, I've got you in trouble.
So now I'm in trouble.
Well, that's very kind. It's very nice of whoever did say that. But well, I'm certainly a new generation in this band, aren't I? I think that's fair to say. But because I've got a totally different musical upbringing to, you know, the original boys in the band. I mean, when I was 10 years old, I was a heavy metal maniac. So that's probably where, you know, the whole power thing comes from, because I really like to play hard and rock out and sort of have a good time on the stage. And I think Chris and Jim enjoy that, because the whole point in getting young guys in the band is to keep the energy there.
Keep it fresh.
Jim has said many times that, yeah, if he wants to play the Yardbirds music, it needs to be with the correct energy and the correct, you know, approach. Yeah. Otherwise, it won't sound the same. It won't, because the Yardbirds were such a hugely energetic band in the '60s. I mean, people talk about their gigs in the '60s being the most raucous gigs. You know, they were the most rocking band that, you know, for a long time. So, I mean, that's why the three of us are on board, because they want to keep that up. And
they want to bring the energy of the youth.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you can't recreate old energy. It's obvious if you're trying to do that.
Yeah.
And it will be awkward, and it won't feel right, and it won't sound right. When I was talking to Jim previously, we talked quite a bit about the energy and the vitality that you guys bring to it. How has your journey brought you here to the Yardbirds?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I say at 10 years old I was a heavy metal maniac, but before that, I mean, I was listening to music like Ben from a very, very young age. My brother was a guitar player, is a guitar player, a very talented one. So, I mean, I started playing guitar about 6 years old or something like that. I think that's about right. But my dad was very into the Rolling Stones and Jimi Hendrix, so I grew up on 60s music, and I was getting off on that. And then when I was about 15, I discovered Led Zeppelin, and then
You can't discover Led Zeppelin without discovering the Yardbirds.
Well, exactly, yeah. You don't just like Led Zeppelin. You worship them, and then you go and find out what came before. So that's exactly what I did. I read Hammer of the Gods and went, cool, the Yardbirds sound great, and then was amazed at how many songs I actually knew, like how many Yardbirds songs were sort of, just the songs that everyone knows anyway, like Heart Full of Soul for Your Love. Everyone knows those songs. Train Kept It Rolling, and yeah. So it was a real trip for me to be playing Heart Full of Soul with Jim and Chris for the first time. A really strange experience, and it still is. Still is weird getting up on stage and playing Dazed and Confused bass line, because you know what bass player doesn't play Dazed and Confused every once in a while?
And who'd have thought that when you were 15, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, covering it with my friends who were also 15 really, really badly, and now I'm playing it with Jim and Chris, sort of around America on the road. It's fantastic.
Well, we're
It's a real honor.
excited that you're doing it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's pick on Andy for a little bit. A powerful singer, songwriter, and a formidable acoustic guitar player, who also plays harmonica with an economical style.
Yeah, I think that's a
I'm really not
euphemism.
sure what that means.
I think that's a euphemism for...
Reminiscent of the original band's sound. Now, I love me a harp player. Now, if you'd have been bald, it'd have been all over. So sorry, you snooze, you lose. But the harmonica is a very underappreciated instrument.
Yeah.
And there's quite a bit of power that people who are, you know, big music fans, unless they've taken the time to explore some well-known harmonica players, are shocked to see a really accomplished harp player on the stage stealing the show. So tell us a little bit about how your musical journey has brought you to where you are with the Yardbirds.
Well, as far as the harmonica is concerned, I did not play harmonica before I joined the band, so that was the first thing I had to do, was get some lessons, and I had less than a month to get sort of economical to the economical level. But I had a great teacher, and I also learned off YouTube this fantastic teacher called Adam Gusso, who was very very successful at explaining or translating how to get a good tone, because a harmonica can sound like a screeching cat if you're not careful. But before that, I've been in rock bands. I also listened to heavy music, just like Dave, and grew up listening to people like Stevie Wonder and the Beatles, the Isley Brothers. Those are kind of in my DNA, my musical DNA.
Musical DNA, I like that.
Yeah, I had to get that in somewhere.
Can I use that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I'm going to use that when I interview other musical DNA.
Yeah.
I like that.
So the journey, as far as getting into the Yardbirds, was a very strange tale, which we don't have time to cover here. But it was more or less a case of mistaken identity. And thankfully, Ben came to one of my gigs and invited me down to the audition. Thinking that it was me.
Great. Mistaken identity worked out for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It never works out for me.